Hi, I'm Allison Rosenberg, and I am a clinical social worker, and I'm here today to talk to you about stress and stress management for students. I have been working for many years with students both in high school and in college who are feeling the stress of being a student and trying to balance their lives. And having high school and college students has given me my own stress because they have assured me that I will be X'd out extremely quickly if I can't hold your attention. So I'm feeling my own stress about performing today. The same stress that lots of you feel when you are getting called on in class, when you have a presentation, when you want things to go a certain way, and it's difficult to make them go that way. Stress comes from your body's reaction to a demanding situation or event. And we have good stress and bad stress. I'm going to focus today on the negative stress. Good stress comes from generally good things. Maybe you're getting married or having a baby, and those things are actually give you good stress. Bad stress is what tends to make us feel stressed out. It's unavoidable. We're always going to feel just some amount of both good stress and bad stress, but it's when we're experiencing too much of the negative stress, it can impact both our physical and mental health. As humans, we had to experience stress to survive. Our nervous system responds to danger. When we're threatened with danger, our nervous system responds with an immediate and automatic rush of hormones to protect us from any situation. This is called the fight or flight response, and people often say that fight is anger and flight is fear. For students, it's crucial to watch out for your own well-being. Let's look at some of the sources of stress: workload, of course, and grades, relationships. Anytime you're dealing with other people, you're going to deal with some amount of stress. Sleep can be very difficult in college. I'm going to touch on that again in a minute. Finances, how are we going to pay for all of this, can be difficult. Technology, that can mean your computer crashing, or that can mean the constant time that's spent on social media. That is also a source of stress for students. And time management, we're gonna talk about that also in a minute. It's important, however, to figure out what your sources of stress are, and sometimes this can be done through a stress journal, where you actually record which things you feel are stressing you out the most. Sometimes we just walk around with symptoms of stress, but we don't really know what it is that's stressing us out. So figuring that out is the first part of this equation. If our stress is temporary, then it usually doesn't have any lasting effects. You have to take a test, you feel stressed out, you take the test, you feel better. However, if we don't address our stress, it can become chronic, and then we can suffer from a variety of symptoms. There's a strong connection between the amount of stress that we experience and poor health. A high level of stress is known to affect our immune system, which lowers our resistance to illness. Many college students get run down and get sick more often, which can sometimes be caused by stress. So the things to watch out for are the physical symptoms that you're feeling, perhaps headaches or stomach aches or muscle tension. Tight neck and back are often a sign of stress. Emotional symptoms, you find yourself really worrying a lot, not able to focus. And if you find yourself procrastinating excessively, or anything that you're doing excessively, is often a sign of stress. I want to tell you about one of the resources that I have found to be extremely helpful and that all of my clients also really like. This is called the Anxiety and Phobia Workbook, and you can see mine here, very marked up, written all over, and it's by Dr. Edmund Bourne. So one thing that Dr. Bourne says is that stress is non-specific in its action. It simply has the greatest impact on the weakest point in your system. There's an excellent chapter on relaxation exercises. He outlines how to do them, and he explains how beneficial they are. He addresses exercise, nutrition, meditation, visualization, etc. All of these techniques are proven ways to reduce stress. This book can be found on Amazon, used for about $2. It can also be found at any bookstore, and it is an excellent resource for stress reduction. We all have automatic thoughts, and often they are negative automatic thoughts. These thoughts can trigger feelings and actions, and we can change how we process events, and this will affect, in turn, how we react to these events. So most of the time, we're not even aware that we're having automatic thoughts. It happens to everybody, and we don't even realize the messages that we're giving ourselves and how these can perpetuate stress. So there are two things that we can do. We can attack the stressor directly, because some things are changeable and some things are not, and we can attack our reactions. First, I'm going to talk about how we can attack the stressors. So first of all, balance. Balancing our lives is key. Not too much work and not too much play. Any extreme behaviors will cause stress, and that's why we need to work hard to achieve balance. Learning to manage time well is one of the most important skill sets for students. While many of you believe that you work well under pressure, procrastination will almost always stress you out. The first thing to do is to make sure that you have some external organization system. So maybe it's a plan book, maybe it's in your phone. I have heard people say that they do best when they have an actual plan book. It can be very helpful also to schedule the things in your book that keep you balanced. So perhaps it's exercise or time with your friends or whatever it is that will keep you balanced. Putting that down and keeping to it like it's actually an important commitment, because it is. Sometimes we devote a great deal of mental energy to certain relationships. Sometimes we will go over the same set of facts many times and come up with the same thing, that a relationship is stressful for us. And it's important to find ways to either work through that stress with the other person or to move on. Attacking your reactions is another way to reduce your stress. You can't change anybody, but you can change your reactions to people and to situations, and this will often change things for the better in turn. With a little bit of work and some self-awareness, you can change how to react in any situation that you like. The first thing to know is that often our stress is accompanied by negative self-talk. Dr. Bourne says that we actually manufacture our own stress. And then once we've manufactured stress, it gains momentum and it keeps going. Dr. Bourne says on page 163 of his book that the things that we say to ourselves are often automatic and very subtle, which means we have to stop and catch ourselves saying these things. If you keep telling yourself that you can't do something, chances are that you will avoid it, and then chances are that you won't do it. If you can replace this with positive self-talk, which is very well explained and defined in Dr. Bourne's book, you can change this whole cycle. Achieving a deep state of relaxation can have a profound and lasting effect on our stress level. I've already suggested the Edmund Bourne book, and there are also numerous free meditations available on iTunes and on YouTube. It's very easy. It's sleeping, eating as well as possible given campus food choices, and exercise at least several times a week. These are the things that you hear will help every part of your life, but for sure, they do help with stress management. Temple has an excellent webpage for self-help. If you go to Temple's main page and put in the Tuttleman Counseling Center on Temple's main campus, you'll see that there are daily walk-in clinic hours for counseling appointments. Anybody there can help you to reduce your stress level, so this is an excellent resource. There's also, on the top left side of the Tuttleman Counseling Center page, there is a self-help resources, and it's a link that's filled with virtual pamphlets and online services that are free for the general public. I'm going to do a 1-minute meditation that's from a book called Mindfulness, an 8-week plan for finding peace in a frantic world. Everybody should sit straight up in a straight back chair. If possible, bring your back a little bit away from the rear of the chair so that your spine is self-supporting. Your feet can be flat on the floor, and you can close your eyes or lower your gaze. Now, focus your attention on your breath as it flows in and out of your body. Stay in touch with the different sensations of each in-breath and each out-breath. Observe the breath without looking for anything special to happen. There is no need to alter your breathing in any way. After a while, your mind may wander. When you notice this, gently bring your attention back to your breath without giving yourself a hard time. The act of realizing that your mind has wandered and bringing your attention back without criticizing yourself is central to the practice of mindfulness meditation. Your mind may eventually become calm, like a still pond, or it may not. Even if you get a sense of absolute stillness, it may only be fleeting. If you feel angry or exasperated, notice this. That may be fleeting too. Whatever happens, just allow it to be as it is. After a minute, let your eyes open and take in the room again. Remember, this is a process. You can reduce stress by learning about what causes it and how you've been programmed to react to it. Keep in mind that this is a journey, that there's a process involved. It cannot happen overnight, but any small change that you can make can have a big impact on your stress level. Good luck.